We got a new studio, we got a new show, and we got brand new content. All right, and welcome to the first ever episode of What's Happening with me, Casey Foreman. This is a show talking about all things sports, media, entertainment, movies, television. If you're talking about it with your friends, if you're seeing it on your social media pages, chances are we're discussing it right here on this show. Again, Casey Foreman here. Decided to use my background as a television news reporter, a radio producer, a radio host, a sports writer, a movie reviewer, you name it, and make this show. So welcome in. Super excited for this debut episode. What to expect on this debut episode? That's probably what you're wondering. Well, we got a full plate for you. Kicking things off with the battle, the IMAX battle, that is, between Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and The Odyssey. Okay, the two biggest releases probably hitting theaters next summer, and we have an IMAX battle on our hands. I'll elaborate here in just a moment. Also happening on today's show, Godzilla Minus Zero. Yes, the sequel to Godzilla Minus One, in my opinion, the best Godzilla movie ever made. I'm super excited about this one. We'll break down maybe what we can expect in this sequel that is set to be in theaters at the end of next year, the end of 2026, and that cliffhanger at the end of Godzilla Minus One. I'm super excited about this one, and we'll break it all down. Then before we dive into our watch list, okay, our watch list for the week, I'll break down what that is here in a moment as well. We're going to talk about a new TV show. Yes, a TV show. Do people still watch television? I'm here to lead the pack, get back on those streaming services, get back on do people still have cable television? I don't know, but this is a show that people should be checking out. It's called Adults, FX's Adults, and it just got greenlit for a season 2. We're going to talk about how it's very relatable for people aged 25 through, I would say, 30, 32-ish, okay, about a friend group, and we'll discuss the evolving storylines that should be discussed and explored in season 2 of, again, FX's Adults. Then our watch list, like I talked about, we're going to be breaking down and reviewing 3 films that I just watched in theaters within this past week. I'm talking about Predator Badlands, yes, the latest installment in the Predator franchise. I was able to get access to an early screening. Shout out to AMC Theaters for allowing me to go out there and check out the movie a little early. I saw it earlier this week. I know it's hitting theaters on Friday, November 7th. My full review, no spoilers, okay? 0 spoilers coming for you, so don't be worried if you haven't seen the movie yet. Full review, what to expect, and my full thoughts on that. Also, Bugonia, okay, the latest A24, the latest Yorgos Lanthimos movie. Everyone's talking about it. I saw this movie just over a week ago, and it's still all over my mind, all over my social media page. Chances are it's the same for you. We're going to break that down. Again, a review, my full thoughts, and a little bit of a breakdown of the movie if you haven't seen it yet. And then also Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is in theaters on a very limited run, but not hitting Netflix, not available for the mass audiences, for the mass public until this Friday, November 7th. I also was able to get an early screening on that this week. So I've seen Frankenstein, I've seen Bugonia, and I've seen Predator Badlands, and expect reviews and my full thoughts on all 3 of those films to wrap up today's episode, our debut episode, might I add one more time. Super excited to be here again. Thank you all for tuning in. And before we dive into our content, a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and to like the video. Since this is our first video, again, we're trying to reach the masses here. A like, a subscribe, a comment goes a long way. But again, Spider-Man versus The Odyssey, the IMAX battle we can all expect next summer. Christopher Nolan is officially taking on Marvel, the franchise of Spider-Man, and Tom Holland, who's also in this movie. So is he really taking him on? We'll talk all about it. But I love this. I love the fact that a guy like Christopher Nolan in a movie like The Odyssey is getting the nod from IMAX, from major theaters, in comparison to, I don't know, Spider-Man with a guy like Tom Holland, Zendaya's in the cast, all these huge comic book characters, Mark Ruffalo, and yet these two films are clashing for an IMAX release. Let's break it all down. According to various sources like Variety, like The Hollywood Reporter, Spider-Man 4, Brand New Day, the fourth installment of the franchise, obviously with Tom Holland, it was pushed back a week. Its release date was. It's now being released July 31st in comparison to July 24th, all because of a certain director's latest blockbuster, like I said, in The Odyssey, which is releasing July 17th. Okay, so a couple of weeks before Spider-Man Brand New Day is hitting theaters, The Odyssey is. But here's the catch. The Odyssey has a 30-day mandate, a 30-day guarantee with IMAX to be in the IMAX presentation, again, for 30 days. Despite any other major releases happening in that time, they won't be in IMAX, okay? Because Christopher Nolan has a 30-day lockdown on that format, on those theaters throughout the country, right? So people are sitting back and saying, okay, Spider-Man Brand New Day is about to come out, about to be hitting theaters in that same time frame, but I'm not going to be able to see it on the biggest screen possible, on the best format there is. That's a lot of people a little pissed off, a lot of Marvel fans a little upset. Me personally, a fan of both franchises, I think this is the right thing to do. I think the Odyssey is going to be the better of the two films, a film I want to see in IMAX, a film that's not going to be CGI heavy, that's going to be shot that is being shot on location with the number of actors that's going to be in it. And again, I know Spider-Man 4, you have Tom Holland, you have Spider-Man, Mark Ruffalo, John Bernthal, he's going to be in this thing as the Punisher. We don't know who the villain of this thing is going to be yet. Maybe they're saying, hey, we don't have a Venom, we don't have, a Green Goblin that's going to be in this thing that we can market William Dafoe as, where it's like maybe we can then rival an IMAX release. Not necessarily. There haven't been too many details about this movie released. And then again, when it's going up against a movie like The Odyssey with a director like Christopher Nolan, with a cast which is also featuring Tom Holland, okay, you got him with the web crawler in 2 weeks, and then, or 2 weeks after the release. And then, like I said, when what is, in my opinion, the biggest release of the year next year in The Odyssey, you have him playing Telemachus, who is Odysseus' son. So Tom Holland's in this one. You got Matt Damon playing Odysseus. You got Robert Pattinson in this. Zendaya. John Bernthal is going to be in this. Anne Hathaway, Mia Goth. The cast list just keeps building. This should be, okay, another movie we expect to see at the Academy Awards, taking home some, if not all, of the Academy Awards. We know what happened last time Nolan put out a film. Finally, it was greatly praised and appreciated. Okay, his first Oscar in history, last movie he made with Oppenheimer. So we know he just got the blank check with The Odyssey saying, hey, do whatever you want. Okay, Oppenheimer just made a boatload of money, dominated theaters. That, we all remember the Barbenheimer craze, which had everyone rushing to theaters for like a total of 6 hours in a single day to watch 2 movies. That never happens because of this guy, because of the movies he makes in Christopher Nolan. So again, we have an IMAX battle. Christopher Nolan's film, The Odyssey, is set to hit theaters on July 17th next summer. And then Spider-Man Brand New Day hitting theaters July 31st. That won't be able to hit IMAX premium formats until at least 2 weeks after its release, when the 1 month run of the IMAX Odyssey, the run of the Odyssey IMAX, once that's wrapped up is when Spider-Man Brand New Day will be able to get and sneak into IMAX. So let me know in the comments. Let me ask you all and get involved down there in the comments section. Is this the right move? Would you rather see Spider-Man Brand New Day in IMAX right away, not have to wait for it? Or are you like me and you're okay with waiting because another Christopher Nolan blockbuster on the way, baby? Less than a year away. Let's go. But let's keep this thing turning on our debut episode of What's Happening, because some new news hit the surface. Okay, came up instead of being a dweller from underneath like our guy Godzilla regarding Godzilla Minus One's sequel, now titled Godzilla Minus Zero. I'm nerding out a little bit here. I absolutely loved Godzilla Minus One. The cinematography, the CGI, the storyline. Never once have I shed a tear while watching a Godzilla movie. Otherwise, maybe, when I've laughed because the storyline has been that bad or the writing was just that bad. Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong. I'm looking at you. But either way, that's the only time maybe I've shed a tear. I really shed a tear, though. I was finding myself emotionally moved watching Godzilla Minus One. It looked great. It sounded great. Story and the writing was fantastic. So, of course, I am over the moon excited for Godzilla Minus Zero. So if you're like me, you're probably wondering, though, what is this thing going to be about? Takashi Yamazaki, he handled the same directing role, everything as far as Godzilla Minus One. He is returning for the sequel. Toho Studios is back. Robot Communications is back. The whole team behind the first movie returning for Godzilla Minus Zero. And if you're like me, you're like thinking back to how that movie ended, okay? Of course, we remember that one line which the American, dub version absolutely demolished. It was an awful take on it. But if you actually watched it in the Japanese subtitle version, which is the proper way to watch this thing, that final line, probably just put you on the floor like it did for me. But one other thing happened in that final scene, which has us thinking about, potential storylines and plots. Plot lines for this sequel. Again, what's going to happen? Godzilla Minus One, obviously referring to the state of the post-war Japan being plunged into a minus state by Godzilla. That's the whole, explanation of the title of Godzilla minus one. Okay, Minus One referring to the state of post-war Japan after World War One. Okay, and we know the big cliffhanger ending has us thinking another war is happening not too far down the road. Is this Godzilla Minus Zero title implying Godzilla's going to be, again, having his wrath be felt on another war-stricken Japan? But again, even worse, it's never been worse for a country. It's never been worse than after Japan after World War II. So as far as, a demolition and a state of a country that we've never seen before, right? As far as an atomic blast, two atomic blasts. And then you have Godzilla, another atomic being showing up after that. Maybe that is the explanation behind the whole Godzilla Minus Zero title. I'm not sure. I'm nerding out a little bit, but needless to say, I am so excited for this sequel. It's going to have me sitting back and watching Godzilla Minus One in black and white, in color. Only thing I'm not watching it as, the only way I'm not watching it is in the American dub. Japanese subtitles all the way. Okay, let's keep this show rolling. Before we get to our watch list for the week, which I am super excited to break down and share my thoughts on those three movies. I'm talking about Predator Badlands, talking about Bugonia, and Frankenstein. But before we get there, a TV show. Yes, a TV show to explain to you all that, to break down to you all that is worth watching because we're getting a season 2. One of the biggest problems in television nowadays is the fact that why would I buy in to 7 episodes, to 10 episodes, to 20 episodes in some cases, right? I love a 20 episode season, but we rarely see it. But why would you buy into something like that is likely to be canceled before a season 2? That is never going to see a season 2 seeing the light of day. So why buy into a season 1? Right? Why buy into a season 1 or 2 if you don't believe in the longevity of a TV show? But I'm here to tell you about a show that has been greenlit, yes, for a season 2. And I'm talking about FX's Adults. This is a TV show that kind of just randomly found its way onto my watch list, onto my TV one day when I was just kind of like, hey, I'm not really seeing anything right now. I'm kind of bored. I'm rewatching several shows, and then some trailer pops up, and it goes FX's Adults. Okay, FX is adults, and this is a show about a 20-something ensemble. Okay, I think there's like one, two, three, four, a group of 5 friends or so that have some known each other for a long time, some of them more recent friends, but they all live together in this house, in a single house. Everyone's living together. Everyone knows everybody's business. And again, everyone very codependent on each other as they try to navigate through adulthood. Thus, the name adults, right? Everyone kind of becoming 25. They're graduating from college. They're getting their first and second jobs. They're realizing how hard it is to get health care and pay the bills and to find friends, getting into relationships. You name it. These people are living it, essentially what we've all been dealing with and living, the past 5 to 10 years of our lives. We're seeing it on the screen, and we're seeing it be depicted in a way that isn't cheesy, that isn't, just doing it for clicks and likes. While I was watching this show with my wife, it was just like, wow, I've done that. You've done that. This is a damn good TV show. And now it's getting greenlit for a season 2. Really quickly, as far as, who's in this show, you got Paul Baker, you got Samir, you got Billy, you got Issa, you got Anton. That's our core 5. That's your core 5. That's a group that I love watching. Oh, we got the microphone. We got the camera moving a little bit. We got the brand. Now we're going to lock it in. You'll see this. There we go. That's the magic. That's the magic behind the scenes that y'all just got a sneak peek of. Sorry for our podcasting only audience. You didn't just see the camera move a little bit there, but we have an auto moving camera. It's AI. It follows me. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, but hey, it's also really cool at the same time. But again, that's our core 5. Anton is just the comedic presence of this group. Whenever he's on screen, it's worth watching. Samir is just kind of the lovable guy that kind of keeps the whole group together. It's his house, his house that everybody is staying in this 9 episode first season. Paul Baker, him and Issa, what is their romance? What does it look like? And then you have a girl like Billy, who are her and Samir going to get together? Are they just friends? So there's many evolving storylines in this thing that isn't just will they, won't they, a group of friends having a really fun time exploring the do's and don'ts of your mid to late 20s and early 30s. So I would incredibly, I would definitely recommend this show to everyone out there who's around 25, 22, even up to the ages of 32, 35. I think everyone in that age frame, in that age range, could really relate to this show and have a really good time watching it. So there's my pitch. Adults season 2 it has been greenlit. Adults season 1 can be watched on Hulu, on FX. I think it's rerunning on FX every now and then. But 9 episodes. You got people like Charlie Cox making guest star appearances. It's worth watching and definitely worth checking out before season 2 gets released, I believe, next year. All right. It's time, everybody. The time you've been waiting for, the time I've been kind of previewing and saying, oh, just wait till we get there. Just wait till we get there. It's time for my watch list. All right, this is a segment I am super excited about, my watch list, where I'm breaking down things that I'm watching throughout this past week that I would either recommend, not recommend, or, say, stay the heck away from this thing, or get your butts in the theaters or on the streaming service right now to check this thing out. Whether it's on one end of the spectrum or the other, I'm going to be breaking it all down. Leading the way today on the watch list, we have Predator: Badlands, the latest installment in the Predator franchise. And I tell you this, I've been counting down the days until this was hitting the theaters. Elle Fanning, she stars in this one kind of in a dual role as a synthetic robot, similar to the ones that we've seen in the Alien franchise. So there actually was a bit of a calling card to those other films, kind of saying, hey, a crossover could be in the works in the future on the big screen once again. But again, Predator: Badlands, I really enjoyed this movie. It's about a predator who has been kind of an outcasted, kind of sent away from his clan, from his family. His name is Deck. He's kind of a smaller predator, Okay, kind of a smaller guy, kind of saying size does matter to these predators, to those at least in this colony. And at least he gets banished to a planet. Kind of give you a quick overview of this thing before I give you my full thoughts on it. He gets banished to a planet where essentially every living thing is trying to kill you. Okay, everything is trying to kill you on this planet that he has been somewhat banished to, and he's out here trying to kill the biggest, toughest thing on this planet and bring it home as a trophy to show his father, to show his clan who banished him that hey, I am worth being a predator. I am a predator, and I'm worth being a part of this clan, of this group that you all have built for generations now, right? So that is kind of the overview of this thing. He's on this planet. He finds Elle Fanning, who's this synthetic robot similar to the ones you see in the Alien franchise. She kind of guides him throughout his journey of trying to prove himself, right? I think we've all been in a situation where you've come up short. People haven't necessarily believed in you. And this is a story showing that on the biggest screen possible with an action-packed script and storyline that ultimately surprised me. Okay. It had me a little moved towards the end as far as what we see his growth and his journey throughout this thing. Like I said, it was a little moving and it was impressive to watch for a Predator movie, right? You expect to just go to a Predator movie and see a guy ripping a head and his spine attached, out of a guy's body and out of his back. But then you go and see it and you're like, wow, this is a story that has heart, that has comedy, that has a boatload of action. So don't worry, it's not missing any action there. But again, this is a movie that I was impressed with. And overall, we're going to roll out the official review meter here. I'm giving Predator Badlands an official 4.0 out of 5. Again, I was impressed with it. The cinematography was great. The CGI was great. The story was impressive. And the action was top notch. There was an ending. Okay. The ending to this thing will have you kind of scratching your head, wanting more. And if you're like me, wanting a sequel for Deck's story, you want to see more as far as what he can accomplish, what he can and can't do. And I never really thought about that going into this thing, thinking, wow, this could be a whole new franchise, a whole new story revolving around this single predator. Again, something different from the franchise and something I would totally recommend going out there and seeing on the big screen. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, last week I saw the latest A24 film hitting theaters, and I'm talking about Yorgos Lanthimos' Bugonia. If you don't know about this movie, I think you've probably been living on a planet of your own, very much going along with the storyline of this one. It's about two conspiracy theory obsessed young men who kidnap a high-powered CEO of a major company, and they are just convinced she is an alien intent on destroying the planet Earth. I don't know where to start on this thing. It's starring Jesse Plemons. It's starring Emma Stone. It's absolutely crazy. Okay, Yorgos Lanthimos has done it again. The cinematography, the writing, okay, just the battle of dialogue between Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone throughout this. I think it's right around 2 hours, maybe a little bit less than 2 hours. It flies by. It absolutely flies by. And it has you constantly swinging back and forth to the sides of this high-powered CEO that Emma Stone is playing. And she's doing a fantastic job as far as why wouldn't we believe this woman, right? Why wouldn't we believe this regular woman who has been kidnapped by these conspiracy theory obsessed young men led by Jesse Plemons? But you find yourself swinging back and forth. I believe her. I believe him. He presents certain points where you're like, is Emma Stone's character an alien? And again, I'm not here to spoil anything. I'm not here to tell you if she is, if she isn't, if, who's crazy, who isn't crazy. All I am here to tell you is that this thing is worth seeing in theaters. The final 30 minutes of Bugonia had my jaw on the floor, had me sitting forward, and it's a complete switch in comparison to the tone of the first 3/4 of this movie. Okay, the first three-fourths, it's a dialogue battle between Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone as for is she or isn't she an alien? And the final 30 minutes, it just hits the fan. Okay, everything hits the fan. Everything goes crazy. Everything you're seeing in that trailer where they're riding the bike fast, where people are screaming, where a guy's hitting someone with a shovel and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, everything is in the last 30 minutes of this movie. And when I tell you those 30 minutes are some of my favorite that I've spent at the movie theater in 2025, some of the craziest scenes I've seen on the big screen in 2025, I'm being real. I'm being honest with you. And I'm telling you that you all need to experience the very same things that I did. Again, from Yorgos Lanthimos' Bugonia, Emma Stone is fantastic. Jesse Plemons is fantastic. And again, the ending will have you, if you're like me, completely satisfied and wanting more movies from this trio. They killed it, and I want to see more from them. My official review, my official rating for Bugonia, a little bit higher than Predator Badlands. I really like this one. It's getting a 4.2 out of 5. We got to make sure. Oh, we got it one more time. The podcast audience isn't seen it. We had our sign kind of diminish there. We are back up and running. First episode. Bear with us, folks. But let's keep this thing rolling. A 4.2 out of 5 for Bugonia. I loved it. Again, the cinematography, the acting, the storyline, and that ending had me completely satisfied, wanting more, and frankly excited for my rewatch. I'm probably not going to go see it again in theaters. But as soon as that thing hits streaming services or is available to purchase at home, I'm watching it again and seeing what I missed, what I caught the first time. And again, I got to see that ending one more time. So a 4.2 out of 5 for Bugonia. Then wrapping things up on the debut episode of What's Happening, we have Frankenstein. Okay, Frankenstein, the latest Guillermo del Toro. I am butchering that name, frankly, guys. Again, first episode, bear with me. We'll get better here. But the latest the latest take, I should say, on the classic tale of Frankenstein. And really quickly, this thing is starring Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, who's just fantastic. Okay, Mia Goth is great in this thing. Christopher Waltz is very good, but Jacob Elordi as the creature, as the monster, so you will, is just fantastic and absolutely steals the show and is almost the reason this movie is worth watching. So let me just get that out the way. He's fantastic in this movie. And I think a lot of people are agreeing with me considering the Rotten Tomatoes score from fans and from critics. Right now, this thing is sitting at 95%. Okay, 95% from fans and 85% from critics. And that's over 1,000 verified ratings as far as fans go, right? So people are loving this thing. People are loving Elordi's performance. And I, for one, am right there with him. This is a movie that I didn't have super high expectations for, that I honestly wasn't expecting to go see in theaters. But after seeing the first reviews come out, including these 95% from the fans on Rotten Tomatoes, I was saying, I got to see this thing on the biggest screen possible. I got to see this thing before anyone else, before I talk about it on my show, because if the hype is real, I got to find out. And let me tell you right now, the hype is real. This new age telling of Frankenstein, I don't want to say blew me away, but has me thinking about it still days after I saw it in theaters. I would say, quite frankly, even more so than a movie like Predator, right? Which I really loved watching Predator early. I think I saw Frankenstein a day before I saw Badlands. But I still find myself sitting here thinking about the performance of Elordi as the creature, as the monster. And really quickly, let me just discuss a quick pet peeve that I have, that I think a lot of people have. And, if they do know about it, I think they agree with me. And if they don't know about it, buckle up, because you need to know this. Frankenstein is not the monster. Okay, Victor Frankenstein is the creator of the creature, of the monster. He's simply, the scientist, the doctor, the brilliant but cynical mind that it is behind this creature. Frankenstein is not Jacob Elordi. Frankenstein is Oscar Isaac's character here, and is completely a character that is incapable of loving. I would say for a viewer, you're not capable of really loving this guy or really wrapping your arms around this guy. It's because that's the true telling of this story. If you're unfamiliar of it, who's the real monster? Right? Who's the real monster? Is it Oscar Isaac's Victor Frankenstein, or is it the creature, the quote unquote monster that he creates? All right, so that's the telling. That's kind of the running tale throughout this story, throughout this retelling of Frankenstein, and again, it has me super impressed with the way it was told, with the way visually it was told, cinematography, the way the performances were, as far as Jacob Elordi, as far as Oscar Isaacs, I was impressed. Mia Goth, one more time, I was impressed there, and I found myself sitting there at the very end emotionally moved by this movie. And I was not, that was not my intention going into this. I was thinking, okay, it could be another cool monster horror, a little bit of a drama movie. But I'm here to tell you the horror, yes, there are certain scary, elements of this movie. The action is great as far as when the creature, the monster really gets going and wants his rage to be felt. It's felt and it goes a long way. But this at its core is a drama. This is a drama about a father and a son and the complications between, are you good enough for your father? And then the father looking down and saying, what kind of job did I do in creating you into putting you in this spot? So it's a whole lot deeper than just a monster action horror movie. It's a drama about a father and son, and one that I really, really enjoyed. So my review, my rating on Frankenstein is officially a 4.1 out of 5, a 4.1, just above Predator Badlands. I really enjoyed Predator, really enjoyed Bugonia, and I really enjoyed Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This is one worth watching. If you can watch it in theaters, get out there and watch it on the big screen. But I understand it's not showing in every city. I am based out here in Dallas, Texas. So I am granted to a lot of the showings that maybe a lot of people in the smaller towns throughout the US aren't. So, but you're lucky because it's hitting Netflix this Friday, November 7th. As you're probably watching this video, get out there to Netflix and watch this latest release. I'm telling you right now, it is worth your time. All right, that's going to do it for our first ever episode of What's Happening. Again, Casey Foreman here. Super grateful for everyone tuning in for our debut episode. I'm going to ask everyone one more time to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, and to get down there in the comment section. Everything goes a long way as we're trying to grow this channel, this show, and this community. And I want to ask you all one final question before we get out there. Which of the 3 movies that I broke down interests you the most? Okay, Predator Badlands, Bugonia, or Frankenstein? And for those cinephiles like me who have seen all 3 movies already, tell me down there in the comments which of the 3 you enjoyed the most. As far as my ratings go, it looks like Bugonia would be my number 1 as far as those 3 movies. But get down there in the comment section. Tell me if I was right, if I was wrong, and where you're thinking. My fellow cinephiles, get down there and let me know your thoughts. But before we get out of here, I just want to say these 3 films are some of the best times I've had at the movie theater all year long, all of 2025. We're having a great stretch of films to wrap up this season. So if there's ever been a time to get out there and enjoy them, to enjoy the movie theater, the time is right now. And one more time, I want to say thank you to everyone tuning in, checking out our first episode. As far as, what to expect going forward, all things entertainment. We have more movie reviews happening as soon as next week. We're going to be breaking down sports. Okay, what's happening in the NFL? What's happening in the NBA? We have a couple of different segments, including our NBA Power Pyramid, NFL Bullseye, that we're going to be debuting in the next few weeks. So bear with me. We have a lot of great content coming your way, and we'll have new episodes coming out multiple times every single week. So at least 1 episode, more than likely at least 2 episodes happening every single week going forward, right here on What's Happening. From me, Casey Foreman, I want to say thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.